good morning, good afternoon to some of you. I know that here on the West Coast, it's 11 a.m. So some of you are already in the afternoon. So welcome. Thank you for coming, you guys. I appreciate it. I think I've got a good topic today. I'm excited about it. I've been doing some research on it. And as you know, it is the topic today is and sometimes I don't have a topic. And mostly I have Mondays, I have an interview. But this came up to me talking to another YouTube time Nomad. And so I'm excited to talk about it. And I got a couple ladies I think will be able to give some good insight into it with their own lives. So let me start by saying hello to Karen Boardman. Thank you for coming. Hold one moment, please. I'm on a live stream right now, Mr. Billiam.
Oh, you are?
Yep, you might tune into it. Okay. I love you.
Love you.
Bye. That is Nomad Hatter, my nephew. And he must have not got the notice that we're live. And then I'd like to say hello. So Karen, first in the house. Second in the house, Van Vita Travels. Hello, Paula. Thank you for coming, Paula. I know you're a busy lady. Travel Dreamer 46. I so appreciate you coming. Catherine Cook, who's going to be one of our panel is the right word, panel today. Thank you so much. I respect Catherine a lot. I respect everybody, first of all, but Catherine and I built a relationship with Catherine. We got to camp together, and I learned a lot from her and her husband. So I'm so glad that you agreed to talk today on the panel, and thank you. And then we have Glorious Life on Wheels, Carol, another wonderful lady. Doing some great work out there with people. My little sister, Priscilla Hughes. Thank you, Priscilla, for coming. She's getting ready to have spinal surgery tomorrow. She has an issue with discs in her neck. And so tomorrow they're going in and they're going to fix her, and she's going to be better that afternoon because it's just a day surgery, Priscilla. But remember to ask for the cocktail up front. You know what I mean. Nomad Hatters, Nomad Hatters. That's Billy and Peggy, my nephew and niece-in-law, and that is their channel name. Those of you who helped pick that name, I'm having a hard time remembering it, but Nomad Hatters. And I'm going to put their link in the description after this so that anybody who wants to go back and subscribe to them, feel free. Camping therapy. My computer is running a little slow today. I have like 10 open tabs for YouTube that I need to deal with, channels that I need to watch some stuff, and it's just running. It may be even 12, running a little slow. Fordman, aka Kenneth Oakes. Thank you, Kenneth, for coming. There's Catherine. Oh, I'm asking for the cocktail. Yes, you are. It actually is it will relax you. You will feel fine about surgery. And I don't know about anybody else, but here in Oregon, in Eugene, Oregon anyways, and I think the rest of the state, you can't have anybody in the hospital with you. Her husband has to drop her off. She has to go in, get prepared for surgery, and go to surgery without anybody in the hospital. And it is frightening to her. So anybody who can send some good thoughts or prayers out for Priscilla, please do so. She needs them. And so let's see where we're at. All right, so we've got some hellos done. What I'd like to do is, this woman is a full-time female nomad, and she is not on here, unfortunately. Her channel, I'm going to share the information with you. I'm going to play this one little bit from the clip. And I've let her know that I'm going to share some information about her. And I'm also going to put her in the description as well. This kind of sums some things up for me. And let me go to her. It'll just be a few seconds of conversation or information from her.
I can't bend my hand. I can't hardly drive. I mean, I can't imagine driving my rig. And I'm glad I can share it with you because already I'm learning that I do need an emergency plan. Anyone who is on the road or being solo needs a plan. You need to think about what if. What if you get injured? What if you get sick? What if something happens and maybe there's an emergency with a family member and you need to leave your rig? I would absolutely welcome you to leave in the comments what your emergency plans are or give some ideas.
All right. So that's the point of this chat today is what kind of things do we have in place? What are the things that can happen? Because as yet, I think all of you probably know, I had Urban Paranormal UK. Thank you for coming so much. So as most of you probably know, I had an injury in Quartzsite last year, our very first major trip out for 7 weeks. And I fell on my second day because of my own arrogance. And I'm just going to say it, stupidity, rather than use my walker because of my mobility disability. Anytime I'm on uneven ground, I'm going to walk distance. I have to use my walker. So I've had to learn how to make friends with that. So part of my plan is that I've committed myself to using my walker when I'm out and about. All right. So that is imperative. There's injury, there's illness, and then there's other emergencies with family. So that was the topic today. That is the topic today. RVing with G. Hello, Georgie. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. I've known several RVers that have had injuries or illness. I think one of the most prominent that I can think about was Camper Van Kevin with kidney cancer of the kidney, and ended up having to have a kidney removed. Those are real. He lives on the road and has 2 little doggies that I love. So it was he was the first person after my own injury that I thought of, wow, what do people do? What is your emergency preparedness plan? And before we go further, I want to say there's people who complained about my cup, my mug that I use in the morning. Check this out. My son got me for my birthday, which was Saturday, and thank you so much for anybody who gave me birthday wishes. Thank you so much. But this is the cup. He bought me 4 of these, and they're in a little stand, 2 on each side. And then in the middle is pods, my coffee pods. And he also last night put a pod in each one of those cups. So he's very sweet. So I also know that Camping Therapy had Doreen had an injury. Thankfully you were in a group and not far from home. So I may ask you to come up if you'd like to after we chat with. I'm going to drop into the link. Or, excuse me, I'm going to drop into the chat a link for Catherine Cook, who is going to come up and chat with us about any plan that they have. You know, I turned 60 on Saturday. It's a reality of life that there's a lot. I'm not the only 60-plus-year-old out there on the road. And so while I was laying in bed crying on Friday, literally in bed, fetal position, covers pulled up as far as I could get them, because I thought the world was going to end on Saturday as I turned 60. Because as many of you might have had similar thoughts when you were 20, never crossed my mind I was going to see 60. Somehow, okay, Doreen, somehow I was going to just float through life and be 20, 30, 35, maybe 40. it didn't happen that way. And so I have Friday, it felt like a load of bricks just fell on me. And it was my own negative thinking about what's ahead, because I do have ongoing issues I will have to live with when we travel. So it has made me think about, can I do full-time travel someday? What will it take to do full-time travel? Let's see. I see Catherine, you're there, and I'll bring you up. And holding. Thank you, George. Yes. Catherine, or Glorious Life on Wheels. One of the main things in an emergency medical plan is having funds set aside. Even with health insurance, need meds often aren't covered. So my story is, and you're stuck at 35. I would be fine at 35. I'd be fine at 40. So my story is, I'm on disability. I am disabled. Mobility disability is the problem for me. I can't really walk, and I have because I have a spinal disease that's eating away at my spine. I've had, it's either 12 or 13 surgeries now on my spine in the last 10 years to keep me walking and to keep me out of critical pain, which is great. I have a master doctor. Hey, by the way, if you feel like you want to, could you please share this out on your social media? Let people know, talk about something that I think many people want to talk about. As I was thinking about this on Friday, and I was chatting with some of my friends, you know what? My friend, is my oldest friend. He is my oldest friend from. We met when I was probably 11 or 12. When I was 12, we met. He lived on he moved into the same street. Karen Boardman, hello, welcome. And you're 65. I'm headed there. And so he told me, he said, which is K, because that's the way I grew up until I became 18. And I thought, I'm a big girl now. I can use my big girl name. I know how to spell Lucretia. And so he said, Kay, 60 is not the 60 we grew up looking at. It's really not. And he said, things are different. And you get to choose how you look at 60 and going forward. So am I going to be 60 and become my disability? Or am I going to be 60 and try to wear it the best that I can? And that's my choice today. So I'm going to bring Catherine Cook up if you're ready. Give me a wave if you're, oh, good. All right. So somebody point out if, okay, Catherine, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you. Well, thank you, first of all, for coming. So you don't have to reveal your age if you don't want to. That's no need to do that. So you've traveled. First of all, do you want to tell everybody here a little bit about your story? What got you on the road? I know you guys are considered that middle-aged area. If you want to share what got you on the road and how you deal with any illnesses or ongoing medicine or medical that you need, that you feel comfortable sharing.
Okay. Well, we always planned to do this. When our kids were little, we always told them that we were going to sell the house, get an RV, and be on the road. And it just turned out that with the economy and everything, and that we had to do that with Homer retiring. So we are on our 6th year, I believe. Mm-hmm. So as far as our health-wise, we deal everything through our doctors back home. If we need medicine, we get them to take it through Walmart, and we pick it up at any Walmart, in the area. As far as age-wise, we're 66 and 72.
Which, by the way, Homer, in a million years, I would have never guessed was in his 70s. and you at 66, I did not think either one of you were your age. You both seem much younger, and I don't know if that's because you're traveling and you have to do a little more. And I know when I'm at home, I am way more sedentary because there's nothing to do but flip a light switch and those kind of things. So go ahead.
Yep. The only thing we have medical wise is our what do you call it? Insurance through Social Security. I'm still working in the process of getting mine, so mine's not here yet, but that's still in the working stage. As far as emergencies, we pretty much go to Arizona. We have family in Arizona, so we can call our daughter or cousin and come help us if we have to. And like others have said, that you played earlier, you travel with friends. So if anything happens, and I don't know if you caught it in the chat, somebody said that Kevin just turned his ankle this last week.
Oh, I did not.
So, but he's with Felix and some other people, helping Frank with his heart thing. So, and I don't know if he watched the last video of his. They moved from Flagstaff down to Cottonwood, and it was raining and muddy in that, and he didn't lock his door. His door came flying open, which broke the step.
Oh no.
So he had to deal with that. So, I mean, there's stuff you have to deal with. I mean, we've done the same thing. Homer backed into a rock and wrecked our step. So, I mean, you just have to fix it, buy it, or get somebody out to fix it. So.
Right. Health issues. So as I was going to say, is that I'm on disability. Van Life with Gina is here. Thank you, Gina. And she's going to be our other guest. And after I share this bit of information, I'll go ahead and I'll get Gina up here to chime in on her experience as well. As a full-time female nomad, and if there was a full-time male or part-time male, I would love to hear their side of it too. It wasn't intentionally women, all right? So I'm a all-in kind of person. So I am on disability, SSI disability, because I was technically, they got around putting me on SSDI, which is full disability, permanent. Okay. And so my insurance here in Oregon is Medicaid insurance. And I wouldn't even have a choice because of how the Affordable Health Care Act is done. When you go sign up on there, if your income is below a certain amount, you are automatically put over to SSI disability, which is Medicaid. When we went out on the road, it was, so we're buffering. Okay, sorry to hear that. I'm going to check on my phone how it's looking. So when we went out on the road, I have medications. So I have medications I take. Richard has a couple, not much. I have a few. And so our experience 10, 12 years ago when we went to California is that we were able to just refill our medications at the Walgreens near Santa Monica, which is where we were staying. And that happened. It was fine. Our medicines got refilled. And so I assumed it was the same now. It is not the same for Oregon. And so our medicines were not refillable. They're refillable, but it wouldn't be covered. So we had to have our son send us all of our medications through the mail. And it was a mess. So I learned a lesson. Know for certain what your insurance covers, what it doesn't, and what you may have to pay for. And as a matter of fact, when I went to the emergency room, it was not covered. For some reason, when I fell, and it took me like a couple weeks to finally go to the ER because the pain was just too much, you're not covering it. So that's on me. I want to say hello to Liv, Loves You. Thank you for coming. Glad you're here. So have you had any experiences where you've had either an injury or an illness where you needed to go to a doctor out of your home? Is your domicile Washington?
Yes.
Okay. So when you've been traveling, have you had to go to the doctor or to an ER?
Well, we did last year because Homer got something in his leg. We didn't know what it was. He was just having trouble walking, and they have a medical term for it, but it was a sore muscle in the calf. So they put him on some medicine for 9 pills, and then they said he could take IV potent for if he had any added pain. So both of us have gotten that, and I didn't go to the doctor just because I knew what he had, and then mine was acting the same way. So in that case, you just had to let it heal. That's all they said, and all the paperwork said you just have to let it heal. And it's just overworking. You know, Homer, he gets out and walks all over the desert.
Yes.
Or
yes.
if he's not doing that, he's working on somebody's rig. I wonder
Right.
who that one was.
I wonder who that was.
Yeah,
He's
and I just happened to notice that somebody's coming up with a video later this afternoon doing bearings on their RV, and it's like, oh my God, how to do it and everything. So, I mean,
who's doing that?
Who would know if he didn't have fixed it? Would you have made it home? Would it have broke on the way? We don't know. We don't know.
And since I had to drive, Richard did not feel like driving most of the way back, and so which I love driving. So by the way, I'm great. I love driving. It's not an issue. So Homer, her husband, saved us. I don't know what's going on here with my computer, but my computer's asking me to do something. I need to do something real fast here, shut it off in order to have, cancel. Come on. All right, I think it's fixed now. My computer started asking me questions. So hello, the Stock Explorer. Thank you for coming. I just want to say I'm very interested in your channel because guess what? I know very little about stock or investing. I did a little bit several years ago and had some fun with it. It was really fun. So yes, Homer Cook replaced our bearings. He just came over and said he was doing it. Richard. So I did one of the stupidest things when we came to Arizona. I had a sole intention, and that was Quartzsite, Arizona. I'm like, go to the middle of California and turn left. And I know that seems childish, obnoxiously stupid, okay? But I didn't count many things. I did not consider emergencies. I didn't really figure out the insurance issue and blah, blah, blah. And then we get down there and we have an emergency, not only the physical, but we had the emergency with the wheel bearings. And so it was a god.
Yeah, and you took it in. They wanted $800 for it.
You're remembering something you just now jogged my. So the people, we took it to a tire store. They wanted $800 to replace our wheel bearings in the front. I didn't have $800 to give them and get home. I didn't have that kind of emergency fund. So head south and turn left. Yes, Georgie, head south and turn left. So I'm going to do a bumper sticker. Head south and turn left. So so the insurance thing's a big issue, making sure you have some kind of emergency fund in order for if something comes up and you have to buy a prescription or that's not covered on insurance, being clear about what your vehicle condition is, which although we couldn't really have known about the wheel bearings, we we didn't know. And enough, so anyways, as what I understand about myself as I age, as I'm getting a little older, I still think like I'm 30. You know, I realize I've got things going on. I try to deny them the best I can for as long as I can. But I can't do it.
But they come and slap you in the face sometimes.
And that's it right there. I got slapped big time in the face, and I don't feel like I want to go through that again. So
No.
you're sounds like you're saying that, you know, making certain that those emergency plans are in place. Do you have anything specific for? Here's what I heard one person talk about: is that make sure you have, like, if you have ongoing conditions, those you should have the information in a book, in a file folder that you could give to an EMT in an emergency. Do you have anything like that?
No, we don't have any illnesses like that, but we would. I mean, I have more information on my dog, which is sitting right next to me sleeping. You want to see her?
Sure. I'm gonna get Gina up here.
Okay. There she is in her little bed right next to me.
And by the way, she's fearless. The doggy is fearless.
Yeah, we just had her check up and she's doing fine. She got all of her shots, but she has early signs of cataracts now. So the doctor says be careful that she's going to either jump too far or not close enough. And you know how she likes to get up on our front dash, and she has missed the front dash and gone down to where my feet are when I'm not there. And it's, this was before we found out she has the cataract. And, with cataracts, like Full Tiny House's little dog, Cinnamon, is totally blind and deaf. So, she gets around and she's 17. So, but, I've warned Dana that there's going to come a time you're going to have to decide, you're going to have to put her down, or she may find her some morning and not be with us anymore.
My little patty cake is laying over on my unmade bed, and she is, so actually we thought she was 20. She's actually likely 19, and that is a long life for a dog, but she's having trouble with her back left leg, and it's wanting to, it looks like there may be a neurological condition there, or it's just the arthritis. So we're now giving her an approved, hello. Well, I want to say real quick, hello to Cynthia, or to Matilda McIntyre, and to Cynthia Pollock. And so there's going to come in a time where we have to, we're paying close attention. All right, Gina, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here comes Gina.
Hello.
Hey, Gina, how are you doing?
Good.
Thank
Hi,
you for
Gina.
thank you for coming. I appreciate it very much.
Oh, no problem. I wasn't sure. I didn't get a link, and I'm like, well, I'll just go over to the show.
Honey, so I've been trying to send some stuff out, and even to my family did not get it. And so my son told me, he said, Mom, did you restart your phone? Because I was doing it all from my phone, and I said no. And that's the first thing he says to check is restart your phone. Right. So anyways, thank you for finding us, Gina, because I know that you have some medical stuff, and you probably have to deal with that, and you live full-time in a step van.
Yep, I live full-time in a step van, and I do deal with medical stuff. I have a pacemaker.
Thank God for pacemakers.
Yeah, for sure.
My brother-in-law, my little sister is still here. Her husband, he has it will restart his heart. It will paddle him from inside. And right. He had it happen to him once while he was awake, and it literally threw him backwards.
Yeah, they said if it kicks, it would probably be after I was passed out. But I have a monitor. That's one of the big things I deal with living in the van full time. That is, it's a pacemaker monitor, And so I can be at it. It works off phone signals, any tower.
Uh-huh.
But like if I'm off grid, it don't work. But that's okay. They need it to work at least once or twice on a couple of week period. And what it does is it tells them how I'm resting, because with me, my heart goes into AFib when I'm sleeping. Sometimes it like 150 beats per minute. They've had it happen for 4 or 5 minutes at a time. And so what that can cause is blood to pool in my heart and cause a stroke. So they put me on blood thinners and stuff to try to help prevent that. So yeah, that's where I stand with that.
It's a defibrillator that my brother-in-law has. He's a year younger than me, I think, or
Yep.
yeah, a year younger.
Mine's a defibrillator. It don't the left side of my heart does not work.
Mhm.
So it really don't do much as in pacing my heart. It is a defibrillator.
Uh-huh.
And so but when I first started my when this all started, my heart failure numbers were like 794, I think, which
Yeah.
is really close to death.
Yep.
And that was 2 years ago. And so over they wouldn't give me a pacemaker when this started, because they didn't think it, nothing could happen. Thank you, Paula. I see that. They said if I could get my heart to work in 30%, they would give me a pacemaker. So I started swimming every day. I got up to like 1,200 meters, I think it was. It'd take me all day to do it, but I swam every day at the YMCA.
Mhm.
This was in end of 2018 to 2019. And they tested me again. My heart was at 32%. So they gave me a pacemaker. And then I totally changed my eating habits. I don't eat box food. I don't eat canned food, because I have congestive heart failure, COPD. Only 30, I think it's 35% of my heart works now, and I'm diabetic. So I changed everything, what I ate. And my numbers were taken last month, and now my heart failure numbers are 101, and normal is 0 to 99.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so we have, my family has experience with that. Our father had he had COPD and the AFib, and my little sister just found out she has AFib. Literally found out on Friday, and her surgery is tomorrow for her neck. Right. So she was freaking out bad. She gets to see a heart doctor today, though. And,
good.
Yeah. So yeah, it's these kind of things suck. And I have a condition called SVT, supraventricular tachycardia, where it can do. I've had 220 beats a minute, and I going to have a lifelong relationship with blood clots. So I have to take a blood thinner. I've had 7 in my right leg. And so it sucks. It sucks to have to take the medications, but activity. So when we're out and about, paying attention to, my place where I can actually, where I should be. I want to go for a walk. I used my walker. Okay. Because of my particular most overriding condition, it does say you need to use a walker, Lucretia, and ask for help. So I'm putting together a booklet. It's going to be a 3-ring binder that has separated my issues with Richard's issues. And I'm wearing now a necklace, one of these little goodies that tells the couple of conditions that I have that I could be found unconscious for, because I have diabetes as well, and another little doodad. So right. I think it's when I went to California, when I went to Arizona, I was just too interested in getting there that I didn't do some things, and I put myself at high risk.
Right. Well, for me, changing what I eat was a big thing. I mean, I haven't necessarily lost. When this all first started, I lost 47 pounds in 2 months, but that was due to water, because I have congestive heart failure.
Right.
But being active helped. but like on the Oregon meetup, when I started that trip, I was on the coast, and I was traveling with Meant to Be RVing,
Mhm.
and we had to pull over in a town where we had cell service because I had a doctor's appointment virtually, and that's when they told me that they were going to put me on blood thinners because they were worried about me having a stroke. So I started the blood thinners on that trip, but during that trip I was a lot more active. Hard not to be when you're hanging out with people that are more active, which is great. So, but when I got back, and had all this blood work done again, now my diabetic numbers are below. I'm at 5.7 on
Mhm.
A1C, and my heart failure numbers have gotten down to where they really close to normal. So yeah, being active is a big thing, and
Sure.
you know that where enhances living in a van. Live out of your van, not in your van. Get out
Right.
and do stuff. But I've been riding a bike every day. I actually, even if it's raining, I have an indoor pedal thing. I'll pedal. I have friends that, like, I have an Apple Watch, like Meant to Be RVing, and several
Yeah.
other friends. They work with, will exercise in competition, so it keeps you going. And so being more active has definitely helped the diabetes and the heart failure. So definitely.
Um, so that making connection with other people. So you just mentioned a couple important things. So when I lost 100 pounds at one point, I was intentionally swimming. I
Yep.
I swam my ass off.
Me too. Yeah, that's
Literally, because it's one place I'm very comfortable in the water, and there's a lot of workout with limited effort. Really, if you think about it.
well. I have a lot of pain, joint pain, and my feet. I have neuropathy, so the pain in my feet. I don't walk as much as I ride the bike or the indoor pedal thing because my feet hurt. But swimming, I was swimming at the YMCA, and it's a saltwater pool.
Oh,
No
good.
pain, no pain. I mean, like, it was an easy exercise. All I had to do was keep an eye on my heart rate, and I would just swim slow. I mean, I would swim 6 hours a day, uh, sometimes 8 hours a day. And that's what got my heart rate, or my heart level, my ejection fraction, or whatever you
Yeah,
call that,
yeah.
uh, up to 30%, so
Uh-huh.
I could get the pacemaker, because they absolutely wouldn't give me one. They couldn't see a point in it,
Oh,
because I was only at 25%, and they basically told me I was dying. But they sent me to a cardiologist, the number 3 in the nation, and he said I had already started swimming, and that brings to the story of why I was in a van. I wasn't in a van then, but I never watched YouTube either. But I started watching YouTube and found Chrome, Van City
ah,
Van Life,
mhm,
and seen D from Box Fan D.
right.
And, you know, Chrome is a real inspirational kind of speaker. And Box Fan
Yes.
D, she has a lot of health problems and she's older. And I thought, man, if they can do this, I can do this. So that gave me hope. I wanted to have a van, and I got out of that bed and started going to the Y every day. And and the cardiologist told me, he goes, you basically saved your own life because you took action instead of. But I really did go home to die. I went home. I was laying in bed for a week just thinking, this is it. And but I once I started swimming, I never looked back. And once I got in the van, I never looked back because I just feel so much better.
So whenever we were out traveling, I felt better. Okay, I did feel
Yep.
better, but because I got fearful. Quartzsite, the one I've actually fallen in love with quartzsite, and I am not a desert girl. I
Right.
am not a desert person at all. I've grown up in Eugene, Oregon. I love the trees. I love the
Right.
ocean just an hour from me. And so, but quartzsite, there's a feeling in quartzsite that is hard to describe to anybody. And the people were fantastic. So that was a great experience. But um, it's gravel, it's rocks. There's a reason it's called quartz
Yeah.
courtside.
Right.
And I became, once I injured my arm on that second day, it became really difficult for me to make myself go out and walk because
Right.
I'm like, even with my walker, I fell one time here in Eugene on pavement coming to my car from my doctor's appointment. I fell. It just, my left leg gave out. And
Right.
so, and had to have EMTs come and help me because I was
Right.
just recovering from a back surgery. So there can be complications. And so when I hear people say, you're still living, you're doing things to better your life.
Yeah.
And that's all, that's the best things we can do. And just do what we can do and understand
Right.
what that is.
Right. Well, and it's like I have to be more active in the van. When I was living in sticks and bricks, I lived in an apartment in town. I didn't like being around a lot of people, never have. And so I stayed inside all the time. But the van, I have to go outside and do stuff. I have to go out and bring some water in. I have to, be outside. And so, and everybody in the chat, I'm sorry, but thank you for all the well wishes and hello to everybody that I missed saying hello to. But yeah, I living in the van is better for me because it forces me to do stuff. I mean, it forces me to get out and do stuff because you can only be in this small of a space so long before you get like, okay, I got to get out.
Right.
But I do ride. I bought a bike this year, and I ride the bike, and I don't ride very far, but I ride enough. I race my heart. I'll get my heart up to like 120, then I'll
Yeah.
stop, get it up to 120, then I stop, and I'm up to exercising a full 30 minutes a day. Just based on exercising, and I'm trying to work up to an hour each week. I up at 5 minutes. So yeah, it is. It can be hard to live in a nomad life or living in a vehicle on being disabled, but where there's a will there's a way, and I'm not ready to die, so
Right. So as I share with Sharon before, you were not on the stream yet, but on Saturday I turned 60. And on Friday I was in bed. Literally, I was in bed most of the day, fetal
Right.
position, covers pulled up to my head, thinking of all the things that I have wrong and the issues that I have and the mistakes that I made when we went to courtside. And the list goes on of the negative thinking. And my friend, who's my oldest friend, going clear back to, I met him when I was 11. He told me, he said, my middle name is Kay, which he calls me Kay. 60 is not the 60 we grew up with.
Right.
It is not. My mom died at 60, but she had her COPD was so bad.
Yeah.
And by the way, she battled doing the things she was supposed to do.
Right.
And so she was on oxygen, and it was just very severe.
Right.
And I keep thinking to myself, I was just thinking that, but I was reminded I don't have anything basically other than diabetes that is it's considered in remission. I don't have anything that's going to kill me. And that number of 60 means nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Except that I do have to pay attention. And so.
Right. Well, the pain, I seen a comment about pain. The pain that I feel in my feet makes it hard to walk. Yeah. But here's the thing about that. That's neuropathy, but due to diabetes. But if I don't eat carbs, the pain is minimal. And that's why I've really changed what I eat. I mean, I have days that are setbacks, but I'm not a sweet person. I'm not big into sweets. I like sweets, but carbs are a big thing when you're a diabetic. But riding the bike, and I'll do walking. I mean, if it's raining hard, I'll dance around in the van just to get some movement in me. Movement is everything. If you can get your body moving, it helps. And I'll tell you another big thing to all of YouTube and all my followers and everybody in here. I have met friends on YouTube that call and check on me every day, that call me every day or every other day, or they'll text me. And that has given me uh the want to get up and go. I mean, I have a daughter. I don't get to see her that much, but she works a lot, and grandbabies. But and they give me the want to get up. So that's exactly, So thank you, YouTube.
Absolutely. I mean, I could tell you, I agree. I've experienced a similar thing with the YouTube. Is that there is a community of people that I haven't met face to face yet, and many that I have. And I would say I feel more connected to people that I've met here than some of the friends I've had most of my life,
Right.
or at least a big chunk of my life that I could drive to and see, or they could come and
Right.
see me.
Right.
And so it has been a good experience. I didn't know this was going to happen.
Right. Well, and I had no idea either. I've heard of people making great friends on internet, or dating on the internet, whatever. But I have truly been impacted by the good friends I've made off from YouTube. Um, Impacted in such a good way. And like before YouTube, before I really got into YouTube and started making videos, this time of year I was always. This is when sadness would set in. I'm not a holiday person.
Mm-hmm.
And I always had a hard time with winters and when it starts getting cold.
Right.
Even when I lived in sticks and bricks and was working before I got sick. But I don't feel it as strong as I used to now. This time of year it usually starts. But I've got friends that I talk to every day that not in person. I don't have that many friends in person. It's all in here. And in no way in heck do I feel it's fake. It is truly honest friendship.
Right.
Yeah, I thank God for YouTube.
Yeah, I have to say, Gina, I've had that experience. Well, we have someone in the basement who'd like to come up and chat with us for a few minutes, and I'm gonna pull her up. Victoria May, are you ready to go?
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I am doing okay. Um, we all know what my problem is with my back, but you know what? I don't let it get me down. I still got to live life and do the things I got to do regardless. So, you know, that's just the facts of life. I mean, I can't sit there and go, well, my back hurts so bad. Nope, I'm going to do what I can do regardless. If I can't lean down, I'll do something that I don't have to lean down that needs done until I can get lean down. And it's not actually leaning down, it's getting back up.
Right. Right.
But you gotta
Well, I promise you, I've always been a go-getter. I mean, like I have high work ethics at my job. No matter what job I did, I was very well liked, and never had a problem keeping a job. I would go to work when I was too sick to work. But I had great work ethics and stuff. But the second that I was in the hospital, and the next morning after they admitted me, they walked in and said, only 25% of your heart works. Everything shut down. My want to shut down. My need, the need to didn't affect me. I was just, it was like very hard to swallow. I was still smoking cigarettes then,
well,
and
you're so young.
huh?
You're so young to have that issue.
But but it was due to lifestyle. And they said, you really need to quit smoking now. I said, no problem, I'm done. And I never wanted a cigarette again. It's to this day I haven't had the urge to smoke, but I was smoking a pack a day.
Well, that's
And
awesome. That's a positive out
and
of it.
Pepsi was a big big addict to. I mean, I was heavily addicted to Pepsi, and so that I had to shut that down. That was probably the hardest thing I've ever quit in my life, was drinking Pepsi. And if I have a soda now, not very often, it won't be Pepsi. Pepsi is addictive, but I'm just saying I changed. When they told me that in the hospital and I went home a week later, I literally was ready to die. I was trying to find homes for the cats I had then. I had Jacob and two others, and I honestly thought I was dying. I mean, think about it, 25% of your heart is all that works. So I didn't see any hope. I didn't see any hope at all. And
Gina,
and
you need to relax when you can relax, son.
oh,
You'll
I
sit there and work yourself to death, I swear.
well,
You're
I worked 2 and 3 jobs as a single mom all the time. And
exactly.
this all happened after my daughter was already grown, though. I was still working a lot. And hello, James Gipe and Karen Boardman and Fairy Dust, everybody in the chat.
But
But
what you just said, Gina, about no more cigarettes and no more soda, those are actually positives within the negatives.
oh yeah, yeah. And I mean, I have a past. I have a past before that. About 3 years before that, I was not living a good lifestyle, and that probably was the start of my heart issues. But I don't regret anything I've ever done in my life. I just, I learned from it, and I truly learned from it, and I try to pass on what I've learned. And I don't know. I could die tomorrow, but honestly, any of us could pass tomorrow, and we don't know what. But I have people ask me, "Is it lonely living in a van?" You can get lonely, but due to YouTube, I'm really never ever lonely. That's for sure.
It's a busy, so YouTube does create a need for more busy life.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
doing videos, getting content, and we get to choose if we're going to engage. Sometimes I disengage from it, and it's cost me in building my channel. But I have to do it the way I have to do it. You're 25%. So my brother-in-law, that's what his was. I think 25%. And he went. Not to tell someone else's story because I don't do that. I just have to say you're saying something that I have heard related to me that he's went through. That it just someone who was worked. So he found out on a Friday afternoon. The doctors called him and said, or Friday night, and he was working full time, physical labor work. Doctors call him and say, well, I hate to tell you this, but your test came back and I don't want to scare you, but you need to get to the emergency room right now. You're in almost complete heart failure. And
Right.
so I watched how they've gone through it, and it is a struggle. So considering that it can be so profound living in a sticks and bricks on the road. I watched Kevin, Camper Van Kevin go through the whole kidney cancer and having a kidney removed on the road. But the community came together and there were people there to help him.
Right.
And I've seen that with other people as well.
Right.
And RVing with G, waiting to die is not good then. No.
No. Well, and that was when they first told me that, I really didn't see a light. I didn't see what to move to. I didn't see what I could do to move forward. It took me a week or so to decide to get off the bed at home and at least try, because really, if I would have stayed there, I probably would have died.
Yep.
Because if you don't move, your body gets.
Yes.
And I was a caregiver for 20 years before this all happened, and that's the second part of this that really put me in depression, was to stop working. I worked 60 to 80 hours a week, and all of a sudden, dead stop work, no work, and I about went nuts. But that was a big depression. Taking care of people is what I did, and I didn't have nobody to take care of. I could barely take care of myself. And that was another part of the depression I fight. And being in pain all the time was depressing. I mean, like anything I did hurt. And, I'm past that, but, and making videos, you're talking about YouTube, making videos. I drop a lot of videos. I try to drop a video a day. But that makes me get up and do something. The videos may not be exciting every time, but I try to show life as I live it in the van with a disability, with what I'm doing, and just try to share my life with you in every aspect. And that's another inspiration from Van City Van Life. He inspired me to, some people may be interested in what you do every day in the van. So that keeps me going for sure.
I gotta say this, and then I gotta go. Is you guys and your health issues and the way you guys just keep on going like the Energizer Bunny. Kenneth Oak is kind of the same way. I admire you guys, and you guys make me sit there and go, "Quit being a baby. Quit being a baby. Look at these people, how strong they are with the issues that they're going through. And you're sitting here crying about your back. Boo hoo. Get up and do something."
Back pain can be very intense. Trust me. I
Well, I
know.
know. Yeah, I know. It shoots down my right hip and into my right leg severely.
Yep. Yep.
But when I think about you, Gina, and I think about Kenneth, and even Lucretia, with the severity of what she goes through, to me, my lower back, my disc deterioration,
Mhm.
and the problems of the nerves and tendons in my legs does not seem quite so bad. And I just want to let you guys know. I don't say it, or you might not see it, but I do admire you guys. You guys are awesome. And with that,
Thank
I
you.
got to get off here because I got a 3-year-old that's getting picked up for preschool. So
All
thank
right.
you, Lucretia, for letting me come up.
Thank you for coming and sharing your insights because you're a wonderful lady. I very much respect. Have a great day.
Bye.
Uh, so, Catherine, someone mentioned the word tribe, and I know that you use the word tribe a lot. What do you know? How's been your experience traveling with a tribe? Because I know you travel with a tribe sometimes, and then you travel separately. Do you think traveling with a tribe, if you're full time and actually traveling, that is what kind of role does that play in taking care of needs or issues or learning from other people?
Ooh. Well, it's like being with your family, so
Mhm.
you always have somebody to talk to because if you're traveling by your, well, when we're traveling alone, we're usually going from point A to point B,
Right.
and sometimes, well, this summer, this spring, we went to Iowa, and Full Tiny House went with us, and we had to go through Tornado Alley. Now that's scary, and if you don't know the weather like they do, we would have been in trouble because we had to stop, I believe, in New Mexico for a while because of the weather, and then we got ahead of it, and luckily we didn't get anything. I mean, when
Hmm.
you're traveling with people that know the weather, going through Tornado Alley and stuff like that, whether you're, you know, whatever situation. And I know when we were traveling, I mean, just from Quartzsite up to Phoenix one time, we were all traveling together, and we were like 100 feet from a rest stop, and we blew a tire. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay. So, and I'm texting, and Homer's driving, and I'm texting Sharon, who is SNS and RV Cat, was
Hmm.
behind us a few miles, and I'm texting her, and all of a sudden I had to delete it all and say blew a tire, and we just drove into the rest stop and figure out what we're going to do then.
Right.
So you always have people, and then there were, Dana and Steve were coming up. So I was texting them, and they said, "Do you want to stop?" And it's like, "No, we're fine. We have, a tire people coming out to do it within less than an hour. We had the tire people out there changing it, and we were catching up with everybody else in Phoenix." So
I've always said Catherine, Catherine and Homer should, consider a channel. They're not
no,
content creators at this point, but Homer, I think Homer would hit a home run if he had a channel and he did some content because Homer's a fun guy and you guys do a lot of stuff. You travel a tremendous amount and so you're actually not too far from me as a crow flies
yeah,
north. I'm
yep.
hoping that you come down I-5 and I can see you.
At this point, we don't know.
Yeah.
There's several plans of going, but I mean, it all depends on the weather. We probably got another 2 or 3 weeks here, and then we have to get out of here. We're going to be stuck here.
Right.
And we don't do cold. Our bodies don't do it with the arthritis that Homer has in his shoulders and I have it in my hands. So we have to get out of here. So it'll either be a straight shot down to you or cut through Oregon and into Nevada. I don't know
Right.
yet. But when I
Well,
know, you'll know.
thank you. We would really like to see you. And we're trying to decide, do we winterize or do we right now? You know, Richard is at the doctor right now. He's at having he has a hernia that he's had since Quartzsite, and they're just now got an MRI that shows the hernia, which he really needs to have surgery on in order to recover well from the back surgery, because that hernia is making him not want to move. And so we're going to make sure next time we come out, which I'm thinking is March, in my own mind, thinking about this, I need another back surgery before I can leave. And that since we're closed, I was scheduled to have that weeks and weeks ago to have my number 2 one, but we closed down here. The hospitals, we're not doing them. They're just now doing day surgeries. So mine, I'm going to have to be in the hospital a little bit afterwards. So anybody who has to spend the night can't have it yet. So what I do know and what I've learned from everybody and the information you guys shared is that having a plan is imperative. Thinking that just pretending like it doesn't exist is a foolish way, and it is what I'm going to call for myself. It's a fool's errand. I will get myself into trouble again. And you know, Gina's point about changing lifestyle. If I want to live on the road full time, I'm a carb addict, Gina. I mean, as a recovering alcoholic and 26 years sober, I can tell you something. My alcoholism is nothing compared to my love for bread. A love affair with really, really good warm bread, because I make homemade bread and I make it really good with slathered with butter. There's nothing in this world, food-wise, I like more than that. It's just
Right.
a fact.
Right. Right.
And it's an enemy. It's my enemy. It's my personal demon. And so trying to change that, or I am changing that, but I can't cold turkey it like I could alcohol for some reason.
The way I'm trying to live is not to eat out of want to, eat out of necessity.
Yes.
So that's what I'm trying to convert to. It's hard, but I'm trying it. And so, you know.
Well, you know what? Your story is very inspirational.
Oh, thank you.
Because you have been through a lot and you're handling it very well. And I'm so sad I did not get to come to the 40-mile away from the meetup. 40 miles. You were in my backyard. And I had, between the RV and the doctor's appointments every other day that week.
Yeah.
It wasn't possible. So
right. I get you.
It will happen. You know, it will happen. So I think what I'm going to do is, do you have anything else you want to share with us?
No, I just heard UPS drive up, but I do got to go. I got something coming in the mail. But thank you for having me, and thank you everybody in the chat. And Catherine, nice to meet you. So
you too.
I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.
All right, Garrett. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Catherine. So I appreciate that you came, and you guys really think about YouTube channel. Just saying, no pressure, but you guys would be great.
I know, but I don't have the ability to do it. I would have to do all the computer stuff, and I can't do it. It's a little bit above me.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. If you ever want to, because it was way above me. Okay. And as it turns out, I'm way more teachable than I thought I was. And the editing programs are really pretty darn simple, at least the one I use. So anyways, I appreciate you coming, and I'll probably talk with you later.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, Catherine. All right, so we're about 12:03. I was trying to keep it at an hour, and I appreciate everybody coming, and I am I always love when I come here and somebody shows up. I just, honestly, it always amazes me. It always will. I don't think that feeling will ever leave. And I appreciate everybody that does come. One piece of information, my live streams are moving the time. And there's a big giant part of me that's terrified because I come on usually after Roy and Becky. Roy and Becky. I love them. I'll still be channel members there because that's one of the few places I'm a channel member. I appreciate the work they do, and they always raid me. But time-wise, I'm moving it to either 2 or 3 o'clock on Mondays. I'm going to stay in that on Mondays. I'm going to continue on Mondays, and pray to God that people don't forget me, that usually come on with Roy and Becky and then come over. But I think it will fit my lifestyle a little bit better. But I still appreciate everybody. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And I'm thinking, is there anything I'm forgetting? I need to look over. Just give me one moment. I need to check something out. Again, I'm going to put in the channel, in the description today, the little piece that I played of the lady who, let me look at her channel name. Liz Amazing. Liz Amazing is her channel name. And I played a little piece of her, one of her videos that really jogged my thought about doing this particular live stream today. So there was nothing else other than I am changing the time to 2 or 3 o'clock, and I'm just going to double check and make sure I'm not going to step on anybody's toes that I absolutely respect, because I don't want to do that. And then that's, I think, the only new news. Richard's back's healing good, but again, he's having horrible pain where the hernia is, and that's a problem. And he's at the doctor as we speak. So I will be back possibly later this week, and if not, I will see you on Monday. And you guys take care of yourselves. Stay healthy, stay safe, and know that we genuinely love and appreciate you.